Hi, I'm Pam Belding, and welcome to Senior Moments. Today I'm going to be doing a program for Oxford Community Television, and I'm going to be rebuilding a burlap art project, something that if you were ever interested in making your own, I'm going to be offering these through Rochester Holistic Arts and in the surrounding community. So I'm going to go ahead and take this apart and put it all back together, and you're going to get to watch me. So thanks for being here. I am going to go ahead and start by taking I'm going to take this off of the mounted piece. Start with taking all of these stitches out, because this is literally stitched onto this micro cord here. We're going to use these little cups. These are just little mandarin orange cups. And they're small enough to hold all my beads, but big enough that I can get my fingers in them. Yogurt cups work too, like the Yoplait ones. And yeah, it's just simple stuff you've got laying around the house. But this way you don't have beads rolling all over the place. You want to try to contain your materials. That's it. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and take this part off. So when I originally made this, I just took this silver frame here, had a print in it, and so I just took the print out, covered it with some low-yield batting, and then put this hot pink micro corduroy over the top of it so that I could mount this onto it. And so we're going to keep that. And I'm going to be working on a new one of these. All right, so let's take off the rest of these beads. We know these. So as I mentioned in the beginning, my name is Pam Belding, and I am a coach, alchemy card reader, and an artist making these burlap art pieces. I work at Rochester Holistic Arts on Tuesdays and Thursdays, where I read cards, and I also offer the Creative Arts Workshop, where you can make a piece of burlap art. Similar to this, you can make beads to go along with it as well. I bring everything you need to create your very own burlap art project. Oh, it's old. So this project I originally made 18 years ago. 18 years ago, right after we first moved into our house in Ortonville. Well, that's not going to be going back onto the new one, so bye, you're gone. Things are going to be a little different on the new project, and that's okay. So where was I? Yes, so 18 years ago, we had just moved back to the United States after living as expatriates in Mexico for a while. My husband was building a glass factory and working a lot of hours while he was doing it. And so even when he was at home, his brain was still at work. And I was just not happy, and I needed something to take my mind off of my anxiety and all of this stuff that was going through my brain. And I remembered a project from Mr. Knapp's 6th grade class where we made a piece of burlap art. And back in the day, it was very, very, very simple, in that we had just a piece of burlap, and we started with, we teased out the horizontals and then tied together the verticals. And it was very simple back in the day. And so I needed something. I decided I was going to make something for my mother-in-law's birthday. And so I had a piece of burlap, because burlap is easy to find. Anywhere you look, you're going to find a piece of burlap. It could be a potato sack, or maybe it's holding your onions. Or I've even seen people wrap their plants in it over the winter time. And so I had a piece of burlap, and I decided I was going to make something for my mother-in-law. And so I did. But as I was making her project, I thought, you know what? I've got these beads here. I had beads from a broken necklace laying around. and a couple of other interesting things I had picked up in town. So I thought, you know what, let's put some beads on it. And that's when I decided to go ahead and put beads on this project. And it turned out really, really good. And so it turned out so good, in fact, that I started making more of these. Now that is it. That is all. This is now garbage. There is nothing left. You can just see the words. We're going to set that off to the side and get rid of that and bring in the new piece. And so that gives us a good point to stop and take a break, and we'll be right back. And so see, this is the same size as this. So I'm going to take a toothpick, just a plain old toothpick, and we're going to mark where I want to pull out the horizontals here. So it looks like we're going to go here. So just leave that right there. We're going to use those to tie together the verticals. I'm going to fringe the bottom. This is, we always like a little bit of fringe. Makes it fancy. Take out the bottom one there. And then we'll do another one here too. And take these out as well. It's pretty simple. If you can pull a string, tie a knot, you can make this. All right, so we're going to pull those out a little bit. So we'll go ahead and take all of these out here and pull these. Oh, well, now we have the side one too. A little fringe on the side too won't hurt. Just a little bit of fringe. I've tried taking out more than one string at a time. I wouldn't recommend it. It seems like it would be a good idea to just go ahead and pull all of these, but it doesn't actually work. It just ends up making a mess and being frustrating because it tangles things up. And we don't need anything to be more tangled up or frustrating as it already is. We're going to go ahead and take the fringe off the bottom like that. So I'll take out 1, 2, oh, that got 2. It's on the edge, it's easier to take them out. Very easy to take them out. Not so easy to put them back in. So once you pull it out, make sure you know you want that out, because that's not going to be so easy to put them back in. All right, so this is going to be the top. This will be the bottom. So let's get to putting these beads back in. So we get to decide which is the front and which is the back. Because once you make that decision, you can't really go back, because you're going to be tying together the strings. And we're going to count to tie these together. I'm going to count 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Put the string through the hole of the bead, just like that. And then use the toothpick to pull the string up through those strings on the verticals. And we're going to tie together with the bead on it. Just that simple. Right in the middle. And I like to double knot it because you don't want this knot coming apart again. And then leave just a little tiny bit of a tail so it doesn't unravel. And I'll show you what it looks like. Just like that. That is exactly how it starts right there. So we've got the 10 pulled together. So we're going to do all the way across here with all of these. It's nice to be able to focus on something pretty, something beautiful, something that's unique. No, nobody else does these like this. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. And so when you've got like an old belt or maybe some ribbon or a necklace or maybe some orphaned earrings, those are perfect for going into one of these projects because this burlap art gives you an opportunity to showcase that really cool thing. And you can make it into a piece of wall art. I have also made these as curtains. My kitchen curtain is made of burlap as well. And I've got a girlfriend of mine who is in the process of making a table runner. And I thought that would be a really cool idea too, is because you could add beads to it, you can make a design with it, and she's doing this project with her mom. And so isn't that awesome that she has this project that she's making with her mom that they will always remember working on together, and they'll have something really cool to remind them of this time that they got to share. All right, so we're most of the way through. We're going to go ahead and start this way. That way, so that it's, in case I've missed a string or taken an extra string, we want to make sure it's balanced. So we're going to go ahead and start from this side now. Go 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Yeah, I like to try to keep things balanced if at all possible. And symmetrical. Oh, that's a fun word. Symmetrical. Same on both sides. Not perfect. I'm not going for perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. But they can be beautiful. And I like things that are symmetrical. They're pretty. Let's take a look. There we go. That looks pretty neat. All right. So that is done. Let's go ahead and work on this one down here too. So the next we'll do are the little white beads here. Now, obviously, this is now the front. See, all the beads are on the front? And in order to get these beads on, we got to work from the back. So we're going to flip it back over. Just like that. So as I'm doing this, my mind is so focused on what I need to do and what I'm working on that I'm not stressing about all that other stuff that was floating through my mind. I'm just focused on making something cool. And we've got those pulled together quite nicely. We've got the centers, the verticals, have the beads tied onto them. And I think this is a good moment to take a short break, and we'll be back in just a moment. All right, now I'm going to sew these beads onto the edges of this. So of course, obviously, I'm going to need plenty of thread to go at least that far. In order to do this, I need to knot this onto my project. So I'm going to go literally through this thread of the burlap. Pull it all the way through. I don't want to tangle it up with anything else. We're going to pull it all the way through and then knot it right there. And put a bead right over the top of it. Oh, did I not pull it out? Thank goodness. Don't pull it all the way out. Just enough that you have a tiny little tail to hold on to. And then just put a knot right here. And we'll do it again. Just like that. So you've got a double knot. And it's nice and sturdy. And you put it, I put it through the actual thread of the burlap itself. Not in between it, because you don't want it to yank those threads out. So let's grab our beads here and see what we've got to start with. So all of these are going to go across this way and then back on this way. Let's see what we want on the end. You get to choose. All of the time and energy you spend focusing on making this pretty and decorative, lovely, is all the time you're not focused on stressing yourself out, overthinking things. Am I the only person who overthinks things? Absolutely not. That's why we do this burlap art. So we will start there and go through the next thread to anchor it in, because of course we need to make sure it's got a strong anchor so it doesn't flop all over the place. And there's one. I want this to look as random as possible, and so that's why I'm trying to get as many different colored beads in here as I can. See, we have just a bunch of random beads, some of which I made, some of which I bought, some of which people have gifted to me. because they think, oh, she's crafty. She'll do something with those. Maybe you're one of those people that you've got some beads laying around and you want something fun to do with them, and now you have an idea. An idea to make something really cool. And there is no way you can do this wrong. This is your art. It's your masterpiece. These are fun. Beads are cool. I made this one. Just a real super, super simple. You make a snake, you get a couple of different colors of clay, and you make a snake, and then you chop it into chunks, and then you roll it into whatever shape you want to, and then using the toothpick, see, just poke the hole right through the middle with the toothpick. Go around the other side, do the other side too, nice and flat, and you have a bead. It is just that simple. That's just a little dollar store bead. I think I found it at the dollar store or something. Super. I think it was a necklace that came apart. Or I took apart. I took apart a necklace. Not the first time, probably won't be the last, because I like the beads on it. And so if you have an old necklace lying around, you've been trying to decide what you're going to do with, now you have an idea. And then reach back and tie a knot, or sew a knot onto the back of this. Double knot it. That is done. All right, so let's start the end with this. Yes. All right, so again, we're going to anchor our thread into the burlap itself before we tie on our beads. Make it nice and solid. Give them a good platform to hold on to. Okay, and we'll do this. Lots of things that you can do to make this fun. I make the beads too with Sculpey clay. So when I was in Mexico making these projects many, many years ago, I had some beads, but I really wanted to make something specific. I wanted to make some leaves. Making leaves, and so I needed some green clay. In order to make those, I'd heard of this stuff called Sculpey clay, which is a polymer clay that allows you to work with it as much as you need to until you cook it. And then once it is cooked, it's hard. And so I had one of the guys that my husband was working with brought me some. I made some beads and put them in the oven and turned into these little leaves. As a matter of fact, one of them's in here. And they turned out so neat, and they added just another level of creativity and possibility, because that's really what creativity is. It's about the possibilities that are available. And that's one of the reasons I love these projects so much, because the anxiety, of course, is telling me all the things I can't do and that's falling apart and all the things that are getting in the way. Whereas creativity lets me focus on the things that I can do and that I do want, and the possibilities that come from sticking to it and showing up and doing the work. And so that is why I keep making these, and I keep sharing this idea with other people, as many people as I possibly can, to be completely honest. Because other people have anxious thoughts too. I'm not the only person, I know. Other people get lost and stuck sometimes, and they forget the possibilities are still out there. And creativity is the answer to a lot of questions. Maybe not all of them, but most of them. Because we just haven't figured it out yet. Alright, so I'm going to finish it on the back here like this. There we go, just like that. And we'll double knot it. And one more just for good measure. I would hate to see all these lovely beads go spilling all over the kitchen floor. There we go. So that's a really good opportunity to take a break, and we'll be right back. All right, well, let's get back to it. I've got my focus beads going on right now, so I'm just going to sew them on with thread. And I'm using the picture here to give me and help me remember where all of these beads were supposed to be located. So let's do that. Let's go ahead and sew these on here first. I'm going to anchor them directly onto the burlap itself, so it's got a nice solid anchor. There we go. There's the F. Focus. Next is O. And the reason I started making this project was we had just moved back to the United States after living in Mexico. And Blake was gone again because he had to go to Venezuela for a project this time. And my son and I were at the house, and all of our stuff was still stuck in customs in Mexico. And I was planning on painting the walls at the house while Blake was gone. But unfortunately, all of our stuff was in Mexico, and the colors that I needed were on a 3-panel screen stuck in customs. And so I didn't have the colors I needed. I was in this house with no furniture. Our son was 4 years old at the time, and we had decided to get a puppy at Christmas. And so I am trying to potty train my new puppy in the snow, which she didn't like, and I wasn't having a very good time of it either. And needless to say, we were both pretty darn frustrated. And so I needed to focus my attention and use this art to adjust my rudder, adjust my attention, because I was a very stressed out person at this time, and I needed something to do. I didn't like where my mind was taking me, and so I pulled out my art supplies, and I had a big bag of random beads that had been collected from all of these other projects I had made while I was living in Mexico. And I grabbed the piece of burlap, and I had this beautiful silver frame gifted to me by a friend of mine. And I thought, you know what, this would be kind of fun to put this together. So with this massive pile of random beads, I got to work pulling strings and adding beads to the verticals. You'll notice for these seed beads that I am stitching them on. I usually like to do them 3 at a time. There's too many more than that, and they don't hold. They droop. And more than, or if I try to do 1 or 2, then that's just too frustrating for me. So 3 is a good number to attach the seed beads. And so I've given myself a nice long, I pulled one of the strings, and so that's what I'm following along. And then I'm attaching them to, I'm sewing them through the verticals. I don't remember exactly why I decided to put the word focus in the middle of this project. But focusing on pulling the strings and making the beads and choosing the colors and the textures, it really helped me to feel better. So instead of focusing on the empty house and the husband that was gone and the potty training puppy and all the snow, I was able to focus on making something beautiful. And it turned out really cool. And so I found a quote from this guy named George Miller that says, "Creating artwork allows your mind to be in a safe place while it contemplates the tougher issues you're dealing with. One can use tools of brush, paint, pastels, crayons, burlap, and beads to expose, and even for a short time, to color those issues in a different light." And that's really what I needed. And I think a lot of other people are needing that these days too. So I know I'm not the only person who deals with anxiety and thoughts of worry and stress and sabotage. Originally, I started offering these as a craft project. And I've been doing craft projects like these for years. But now, in these unprecedented times of uncertainty and with the pandemic and with people feeling stuck like I was feeling stuck back in the day, I want to offer this as a creative art therapy, because that's really what this was all about. I needed to find a way to let go of the anxious thoughts in my head and tune in to the possibilities of creativity that I knew I had within me. To see, when I was anxious and frustrated, I was not the best mama. And it would make me short-tempered and mean. And I don't ever want to be short-tempered and mean to my family or to anybody else. And so I knew I needed to do something different for myself. And that's why I want to share it with you. Well, apparently I did such a better job this time that I need to get more beads. So I'm going to have to go finish those at home, and then we're going to put this along the bottom edge right here. And then we can just stitch it on. We're almost there, folks. There you go. Nice, solid. That can fit. Oh yeah, we're good. We've got enough. So let's get started, shall we? Let's do this one first because it's cool. Oh, right, that's what I'm doing. Give ourselves a nice straight line to work with, see? All right. There we go. Focus. I'll have to fix that when I get home, obviously. I have more of these at home. So I'll go ahead and got a little glue dot go on the back of this guy. He goes right there. Nice. And this goes right in. All right, now that my project is done, I am going to take it home so that I can mount it onto this beautiful frame here. You can see where the old one was on there. And so I'm just going to go ahead and put this right back on here. And I have had the very best day today because I have got to spend the entire afternoon making art. And this is incredibly therapeutic and beautiful. And the people here at OCTV have been absolutely fantastic to give me all of this time to make this project and turn this into something that is going to share the beauty of art and fun and therapy with so many other people. And I'm so glad that you spent your time with me today. And I look forward to seeing you again one of these days soon. Again, my name is Pam Belding. You can find me at Rochester Holistic Arts, or you can go to pambelding.com and find me on there. In the meantime, I hope you have a most wonderful day, and we'll talk to you soon.